What's up, everybody? Akash Inti here, and today we talk drug pipelines. Why are they important? What are they? And how does one construct a drug pipeline? We'll kind of touch along all of these different ideas on today's show or episode, whatever you want to call this. Today's expression, that's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so why are drug pipelines important? Well, in the biotech and pharmaceutical industry, drug pipelines are important because they show a landscape. So there's different perspectives to pipelines before we even get into this. There's one perspective from an indication or a disease point of view. We have a perspective from a company's pipeline, and then the overall industry pipeline. So these are like three different ways of thinking about it. There's multiple different ways of thinking about it. And that's one thing. As you continue to watch more and more of these videos and learn more and more, you'll start to get a sense that depending on who you're talking to, you may have a different definition. So it's always important to clarify what is meant by the term being used. In this case, we're talking about pipelines. Cool. So with that background, why might one want to know what the pipeline of the industry pipeline is? Well, you get a good sense of what is the future development of a particular disease / indication. What will it be based on looking at the pipeline? So you can get some ideas as to, okay, well, this may be entering the clinic. And when we say entering the clinic, there's two ways to think about it. One would be that it goes into clinical trials. The second way to be thinking about it, that's really the way to be thinking about it. Otherwise, people may use that term entering the clinic when they really mean going onto the market. So separate concepts, but again, important to know who you're talking to and know what they really mean by what they're saying. So for the perspective of a company's pipeline is important because it gives you a good sense of what their potential future earnings or revenue may look like. If a company has one product in the preclinical setting, for example, they're not going to have sales for their drug for years, probably at least 3 years at base, but probably more like 5 to 7, maybe even 9 years from there. From the perspective of the industry, you might want, again, I glimpsed about this a little bit earlier, you might want to know what is the pipeline look like so that you could get a good sense of, well, what does the future of this particular industry look like. The biotech and pharmaceutical industry has been exploding with growth right now as a result of a lot of the new science and innovation that's been coming online, along with a lot of new funding in terms of money. Money has just been flowing into biotech and pharmaceuticals for the past few years. With that, lastly, the last type of indication, or the last type of pipeline one may think about is an indication or a disease-specific pipeline. So looking at the industry, this could be, you could see cancer drugs, you could see neurology drugs like CNS, you could see autoimmune inflammatory drugs, you could see kidney drugs, cardiovascular drugs even. But when we talk about a disease-specific pipeline, we're really looking at one specific disease. So an example of this might be non-small cell lung cancer. What's going on in the pipeline for non-small cell lung cancer? Again, the purpose of this is to really get a good sense of, okay, these are the different agents that are being developed in it. Each agent has a different approach, or there is some type of level of differentiation. And when I say differentiation, it means that there's a reason that this drug is different than the other. Especially when these are novel products. When they're not novel products, then that's a whole different story, and that's the generics business. We're not talking about that. Though these things do still apply there. However, when you are a drug developer, you want to get a good sense of, well, who's going to be my competition in the future? Or, as I'm developing, because again, we remember that drug development takes quite a long time. At least 10 to 15 years is kind of the estimates that are quoted. But again, it depends on the drug itself and how long it takes. So with that, pipelines are really integral for one, from a industry perspective of getting a sense of, well, what are the new hot therapeutic areas? So therapeutic area you can think of as groupings of diseases. Example, a therapeutic area would be oncology or cancer. So all of the cancers are grouped there. Another one would be CNS Neurology, anything that has to do with any diseases that are primarily affecting the central nervous system or the neurons, kind of categorized in there. So it's good to get a good sense of, well, what are these therapeutic areas that are really growing or expanding. And there may be reasons for it, as we saw in oncology a few years ago with the new research in terms of immuno-oncology, using the immune system to fight cancer, turning on the immune system such that cancer is detected. We saw huge growth in the oncology fields as a result of it. So there may be specific reasons as to why specific therapeutic areas grow or not, and this may be reflected in the pipeline. From the perspective of indication, so drilling down a level below a therapeutic area, we'll see that you might want to get a good sense of, if you're a company, well, who's out there, who else is out there competing, and why do I need to know and what other companies are doing? Well, it's important to know what other companies are doing so that you can show what your level of differentiation is and get a good sense of what's really out there. Then lastly, from the company's perspective, a company's pipeline includes, interchangeable as the portfolio. So it's how many different drugs do they have, and for each of these drugs, what indication are they going after? So indication means disease. What is the purpose of this drug? What disease is it either treating or curing? And you typically investors want to see that a company is going after multiple, depends on the investor themselves, but usually they want to see a portfolio of drugs, and this is again what we're referring to as pipeline. The reason being is it de-risks the whole company itself. So if you invest, I don't know, $100 million into one company, rather than them spending $100 million only on this one shot on target or this one drug in this one indication, if they were to spend $10 million on one drug in one disease, another $10 million on another drug in another disease, and so on and so forth, it minimizes risk so that maybe drug 1 fails, maybe drug 2 fails, but maybe drug 3 wins, and knocks it out of the park. So again, understanding that these terms, there's purpose to them, and there's a reason why one may want to know what is the pipeline look like from these different perspectives. As an analyst, you kind of get a sense of, okay, this is the type of analysis that I'm trying to do, and thus I'm going to use this particular pipeline, or some such thing. Well, with that, I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to hear more about. Love any of the interaction and engagement you guys have been giving me. And with that, remember, keep up, thrive, and stay safe.